how to show love to our everyday heroes. So if you're a first responder, you are in for some perks. Lots of hotels and casino offer big discounts to any first responders who can show valid work or volunteer ID. So treat yourself to a discounted stay. You deserve it. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Steve Kerr coming back. They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star three trio is, they can make the guys around them better. They can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Under him was Sharon Moore, who also participated in the cheating scandal with Connor Stallions. So you know what happens to him? He doesn't lose his job. He doesn't get a 10-year show cause. He gets to keep his job, and they go, we're just going to suspend you for 2 games next season.
Now, all of a sudden, they're coming out with everything that we knew to be pretty much true when it was happening. Yeah, they were cheating. It was like Belichick and the videotapes, right?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on Sport.
Two NBA playoff games, the fallout from a crazy game between the Knicks and the Celtics, the Jason Tatum news, the NBA lottery. We're going to get to all of it. We absolutely are. But I want to start with the Major League Baseball board here on this Tuesday. You have a 6:40 start in there. We've got juice for the people, and we want to deliver that. It is a Tuesday. I think still many of you play a lot of your home run bets on those Tuesdays. The home run bets from the crew. You know the crew has been stepping up on a nightly basis, giving you a full slate. So let's get best bets on the card first. Chris, from vacation, gives you Rafael Devers over the 1.5 hit run RBI. That's at -125. Yarnell plays Marlins Cubs over the 8. I don't mind that look at all there. As long as the weather holds, you're in a really nice spot. D-backs money line for AJ, some trust for Brandon Pfaadt. I feel like I fade him every single time he starts to mixed results. AJ is going to back him. My best bet is the OKC team total over the 115.5. That's our main event tonight. We will break that down as we get closer, but it lets you know if you want to lock in, that's where I am tonight. Home run-wise, where do we go? Favorites, again, crew steps up, no doubt. I am on Tyler Soderstrom. +420. He has not hit a home run in 22 consecutive games. This incredible power streak to start things off has really slowed down. But I think we see pop tonight in the game between the Dodgers and the Athletics. And I also played Will Smith on the other side of the field. All right? At a +450 price there. That game has juice. It's a 9.5 total. Would certainly be leaning towards the over. If it hits a flat 9, maybe I'll even play it. But I'm going to go with Soderstrom. Elsewhere from the fellas tonight, Jonah Heim for the Rangers at a +460. They go up against Kyle Freeland. Lighters on the mound for Texas. A part of me wanted to play under in this game. I just thought I'd get a better number. At 8.5, it's too risky that one of those pitchers blows up. So I backed off. Doesn't mean you can't get some juice. Jonah Heim is the pick there. Chris goes Mark Vientos at a +600 price. We'll see if they play that game. The Major League Baseball board tonight has already lost Baltimore and Minnesota and Philadelphia, St. Louis. Both games are scheduled to play, or teams are scheduled to play tomorrow. So you're probably going to get a huge Major League Baseball slate with doubleheaders and full slates on a Wednesday. AJ goes Jackson Merrill. The Padres youngster has absolutely been brilliant when available. That's the key, though. He's dealt with a little bit of injuries here. He's only played in 15 games, but he's batting, a smooth 467. All of a sudden, Aaron Judge, watch out. If Jackson Merrill can get himself to qualify at a considerable batting average. At the top of that lineup, we all know it is Fernando Tatis. Tatis continuing this incredible start with 10 home runs, a 24 RBI in the leadoff spot, a 316 batting average, and this back and forth race that you really have, I feel at least, when we talk about league MVP in the National League. Ohtani is plus 170, playing better. That number's grown shorter. I still think Tatis is a great case if the season ended today. It doesn't end today, though, and it's why you're seeing Ohtani get that love. I did put Tatis's 1.5 hit-run RBI in action with 2 team totals taken down, 1.5 on the Tampa Bay Rays in their game with Toronto, and then playing the Giants, actually, up against Brandon Pfaadt. Elliot Ramos for a hit-run RBI prop on the San Francisco Giants side of things wouldn't bother me if you want to make that play for that spot tonight. Again, a lot of weather to be cautious of on this Tuesday slate. Things are kind of up and down right now when you're talking about, are we going to get these games? Are we going to get delays? It makes for a tricky outing. Just a couple of other notable spots tonight. The Yankees go against the Mariners with Max Fried. When I say under-discussed, I think it's largely just because of where we are in the calendar. But Max Fried has been better than anyone could have possibly imagined for the Yankees. They have won every single one of his starts. He is 6-0 himself with a 1.05 ERA. His plus 550 price is tied for the third best in the American League. Skubal's the favorite at plus 160. Garrett Crochet plus 450. And then Hunter Brown, again, tied with Max Fried. Can Fried keep this going even more? He's allowed 1 earned run, and it came on a solo shot on the road this season. So we will see how that looks tonight going up against Seattle. Atlanta, here we go again. Another opportunity to get to 500 over minus 200 with Schwellenbach getting the ball tonight against the Washington Nationals. They handled their business against the Nationals in game number 1. Can they get themselves to a flat 500 for the first time since it was 0-0? The only time that this team was 500 all year in Atlanta. And then one more just to keep your eyes on. Astros-Royals. Valdez Bubic. Chris Bubic has been brilliant to start this season as well. He has had one start where he kind of was blown up 4 earned. It came against this Houston team. He has given up no earned runs in 5 of his starts already this season. He's only had 8 starts. But the Astros were the last team really the only team that got to him. We'll see what that looks like with Valdez getting the ball. So that's where the Major League Baseball board is tonight. That's where everything stands. I did, by the way, speaking of that Royals game, it's a Dinger Tuesday, so you just throw some shots out there. I mentioned Soderstrom. I mentioned Will Smith. I did take a Vinny Pasquantino 7-1 or plus 750, I think it was. No sweat. Just to give him a shot there on a lefty-lefty against Valdez. Valdez struggles a little bit more against the left-handed side of the plate there. So we'll see if Pasquantino can put one out in Houston. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Coach James Young. We're going to talk about tonight's NBA board. We're waiting on an official word around the Cavs starters for that game against the Pacers. We certainly expect Donovan Mitchell to play. The Oklahoma City Thunder tonight are a pretty big favorite against the Denver Nuggets. Still really big prices here on these home teams, and we'll see if they're able to continue that trend. Quickly, though, in case you did not see just yet, and they have now just confirmed the Cavs starting lineup: Garland, Mitchell, Strus, Mobley, and Allen. So that is big. Sam Merrill misses the game with a neck injury, though. He's been a part of that rotation. Could mean a couple of more minutes for a Max Strus potentially. But just in case you you haven't seen the news, it was confirmed that Jason Tatum did suffer a torn Achilles tendon yesterday in the fourth quarter of Celtics-Knicks. That report was met with, it took a long time to get that report, and it was then accompanied with he's already seemingly had the surgery. It's a little, I don't know, the way the news was delivered I found to be a little odd, but maybe everyone was just trying to hold out optimism for as long as possible. The news is out, though. It was announced by the Boston Celtics. And the question that now sits over the Boston Celtics, it's not, can they win the series against the Knicks? Can they win the championship somehow this way without Tatum? It's, will they be without Jason Tatum for all of next season? And what does that mean for the Boston Celtics? Right back here, Game Time Decisions, next.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to Game Time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Pages. Let's get lucky.
Live right here, it is Game Time Decisions with you on a Tuesday night. Let's talk a little Cavs Pacers. 8.5-point line. Cleveland is the favorite in this one. I just wanted to wait for official word on Donovan Mitchell. No surprise, he plays in this game, despite not playing in the second half of the game against the Indiana Pacers. That, to me, was out of caution. And really, it was smart. They were down 41. They were never winning that game because of what they did in the first half. There was absolutely no reason to send him out there, and they didn't do that. But I think Donovan Mitchell is pretty Again, I'm not telling you he's 100% healthy, but I trust what Donovan Mitchell will bring to the table tonight for Cleveland. Game number 133, game 248, game 343. The 12 points and only a half a basketball with a poor shooting night, I don't think is going to sustain. So give me Donovan Mitchell over 27.5 points at minus 102 juice. I think you're getting a bit of a discount for the injury, putting a couple of question marks into the air. But if you look at the side at 8.5, you look at the money line at minus 340, there really aren't that many question marks at the moment, I feel, around Donovan Mitchell. The books believe Cleveland is better. And I feel as if existing in a world that very few people likely are, of believing the Indiana Pacers are a very clear threat to win the East, while still thinking the Cleveland Cavaliers can come back and win this series. I feel as if you believe in Cleveland coming back, it's because you're dismissive of Indiana, or if you're in on Indiana, you absolutely think the Cavs are done right here. Now, that me existing in those worlds is because I'm also probably one of very few people who bet the Pacers before the season to win the Eastern Conference, and then bet the Cavs to win the title before the postseason. But that's the world I found myself in. Right now, I'll put it to you in this way. If you said, hey, K-Dub, pick. Are you laying minus 260, which is the Pacers' number to win this series, or taking the plus 215 on Cleveland? I'm taking the plus 215 on Cleveland. I think they win tonight. I would really like their chances in a Game 7. It doesn't mean the Pacers would be drawing dead. Ask the Knicks. Last year, round 2, Game 7, at the Garden. Put up 70 in the first half. 70. 130 in the Garden in a Game 7 to send them home. But I would still say that if the Cavs can win 6, because I think they're going to win 5, you're in a pretty good spot. Let's find out what Coach James Young thinks. JY, great to have you here with us on a Tuesday night. Of course, Coach, always making the rounds during this incredibly busy NBA season. Also, make sure you do check out everything he does with the BATR podcast, which comes out on a multi-times-a-week basis there. JY, appreciate you again here on a Tuesday night. Let's just get right into Cleveland, Indiana. Pacers a big-time dog, despite winning the only 2 games that have been played in Cleveland in this series. What do you like here in Game 5?
I think this is going to go back to Indiana. And I think you make a really valid point here is what do you believe in? I think the Cavs are the better team. And listen, we've talked about this even on weekends when we were on air together, that Cleveland just hasn't really clicked yet offensively. And I think that's why they're only plus 215, because people figure if their offense clicks with that depth, they can get rolling. I like the Cavs minus 8 points. Every game that they've won, Kevin, in the playoffs, they won by 9+ points. They generally they get people, and I think there's a lot of pride in the line because, let's be honest, people have questioned whether this team can do it in a big spot. It's a big spot tonight. They force a Game 6. Give me minus 2 points on the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight.
All right, so JY is going to rock with Cleveland in that spot. The question, JY, though, when we look at the Eastern Conference, and again, I know there's a lot of different ways that we can attack this, but you have 2 60-win teams in the conference, and in this moment, neither are projected to be in the conference finals. Knicks plus 115, Pacers are plus 210, Cavs plus 410, Boston right now, the news today, Jason Tatum, certainly out for all of this season, probably out for next season, plus 850 to win the Eastern Conference. What do you make of the current market, JY, on the odds to win the East?
I mean, it makes sense because both teams are up 3 games to 1, right? I mean, and it's kind of crazy how very thin everything is, right? If Cleveland gets the ball inbounds and or blocks out on a free throw, this is 2-2, completely different odds. If Joe Mazzulla does anything about shooting way too many threes in Games 1 and Games 2, this could be 3-1 Boston. Let's be honest, if they just close out the fourth quarter. So just how razor thin it is. Now, is there a team that I think has a better chance of coming back 3-1? Of course I'm going to say Cleveland. because of Boston losing Jason Tatum. And there's something that I heard today by Brian Windhorst that I want people to be very careful of. And this is just such a dumb statement. He goes, the Celtics were 8-2 without Jason Tatum. Yes, they were. But did you know that the 6 wins they had, 6 and 8 wins, were teams that did not make the playoffs? The 2 teams that did make the 2 wins against teams that made the playoffs were Detroit in December when they weren't playing well. The 2 times they played teams that made the playoffs comfortably, Orlando, blow out them both. Listen, a lot of pride for both teams here, but I think if there's a team I'm going to say has a better chance of coming back, of course, Kevin, I'm going to say Cleveland.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing, JY, with the without Tatum sample sizes, Boston was always pretty selective when Tatum didn't play. So when they were playing the upper echelon, he was out there, right? Tatum's been so available for this team. So, yes, a lot of games under teams, under 500, but that's who the sample size certainly was. I'll say this, Boston favored in Game 5. I expect Boston to win that basketball game and at least get one back to Madison Square Garden. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back, certainly get coaches' thoughts on a very important Game 5 in OKC Denver. The swing game. Someone takes a 3-2 series lead. Who does Coach think next?
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. They've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Derek Carr has called it a career after 11 NFL seasons.
I think they knew before the draft that they had to make a move at this point. And by the way, Derek Carr did have a pretty good career. Made as many Pro Bowls as Eli Manning. So based on that, he should go to the Hall of Fame like Eli Manning. Well, Eli Manning does have a couple rings at that point, but always wanted to take a shot at Manning, who should not actually be in the Hall of Fame. Shouldn't be questioned an under 500 quarterback for his career. Stop the man.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions on a Tuesday night. The impact of the Jason Tatum injury, the impact of the Boston Celtics loss has not only shifted the Eastern Conference market, but it has now positioned Oklahoma City as a minus money favorite to win the NBA championship, minus 105. Despite that, OKC finds themselves even through 4 against the Denver Nuggets. JY, I sometimes feel as if when I watch this series, I am watching different basketball than everyone else. But I typically, if I say something like that, look, I'm self-aware, JY. I'm probably being mean. I probably think everybody around me is a buffoon. I don't understand how they're not seeing what I'm not seeing. I understand why. If I'm on an island, I get it. I understand why I'm not looking around at a lot of people who feel the same. I think that this series being over and a 4-0 sweep for OKC makes more sense than it being 2-2. I think that the Thunder are significantly better. I feel as if every single one of these games going into it, I thought they were going to win by double digits. They've only done that once in this series. Now, they happened to win it by double digits 4x. So I guess maybe I was somewhat right. Where are you at, JY, as we enter game number 5, Thunder Nuggets?
I think this has a chance to go 7. And here's the thing, folks. You're right. It took a monumental comeback in game 1 and the stupidity of Mark Daigneault in game 3. Let's just be honest. I'm sorry, in game 1. Game 3 is just basically SGA. They didn't run good offense, and Jalen Williams was hotter than fish grease, and they didn't get him the ball enough. Today, I think Oklahoma City wins, but I don't think they blow it out. I think the line is kind of high. If it was like 6.5, 7.5, I'm like, okay. 10?
Yeah.
That's why I get a little bit tricky with it. I think Oklahoma City wins. I think Denver does cover the 10 points. I like Russ over 10.5 points. He always seems to do, well when he goes back to OKC. Before the last 2 unders at home, he had gone over 10.5 and 9 in the previous 10. And Isaiah Hartenstein double-double, right? 10, 9.5 during the playoffs, average a double-double during the season, 2 double-doubles in his last 5 games. You know he's going to get the rebounds. And I think if I'm Daigneault, I try to make Joker defend. So I like Isaiah Hartenstein. They're going to double-double really quick. I didn't get to it. I forgot to do it last segment. Obi Toppin over 11.5 points was rebounds, right? 7 out of last time versus Cleveland. I think if Cleveland blows them out, then you need bench minutes, right, and bench production. And Obi, I think, played really well last game. And I'm going DeAndre Hunter over 9.5 points. He was over 45 out of 57 at home, under last 2, but went over 12 to 13 before that. That's a guy that's important for Cleveland. If they're going to make a run in this series, they need bench play. They need DeAndre Hunter over 9.5 points tonight.
On Hartenstein, just to specifically back the scoring element of it, the whole thing on Isaiah Hartenstein, you hear it on the broadcast, is just how efficient he is. His last 2 games, 8 of 21 from the field. That is outlier. That is abnormal. So I think that makes a ton of sense. And I'll throw one thing out there as well, Coach. You reminded me of something. Series 3-point leader. No one, I mean, if you're holding this ticket, shout out to you. Current minus money favorite, Aaron Gordon.
I'm right. 155 still, right?
Aaron Gordon currently in that slot. The player who jumps out for me, JY, is Lou Dort, because volume-wise, just his own planet. Lou Dort has attempted 32 threes in this series. 32 threes. Jokic has attempted 28. That's the second most. Then it is SGA at 24. The leader of this whole thing is Aaron Gordon at 22. That is 10 less attempts. I did 5. 10 less attempts. That is a lot less. So if you end up getting even just 2 more games, but certainly if you do get 3 like Coach believes, over time, Lou Dort should be able to make up the ground that he currently needs to. He is at 8 makes. Aaron Gordon is at 12 makes. You maybe, though, could argue the better way to play it is a Lou Dort threes ladder, which I wouldn't hate if you went that way. Coach, appreciate it as always. Great stuff from JY. Quick break, more game time decisions with you on a Tuesday night.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Pages. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
You know, Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. You know, they've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Derek Carr has called it a career after 11 NFL seasons.
I think they knew before the draft that they had to make a move at this point. And by the way, Derek Carr did have a pretty good career, made as many Pro Bowls as Eli Manning. So based on that, he should go to the Hall of Fame like Eli Manning. Well, Eli Manning does have a couple rings at that point, but always wanted to take a shot at Manning, who should not actually be in the Hall of Fame. Shouldn't be questioned, an under 500 quarterback for his career. Stop the Manning.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Game Time Decisions live with you on this Tuesday night. We've got a lot of good stuff coming up here later tonight. We're about to get underway in Cleveland for Game 5 of Cavs Pacers. If Cleveland is able to complete this 3-1 comeback, they will find themselves favored in the next round unless, well, not true. They're going to be favored now even if they do play Boston due to that Jason Tatum injury. So for the Cavs, the chance to get to the finals without LeBron still is out there. I'm on Donovan Mitchell over the 27.5 points. Over 27.5 points in this game. I think he is healthier than the discount suggests on his prop. I think it's a nice bounce-back spot for Donovan Mitchell. But the main event on our slate tonight is Oklahoma City and Denver. Game 5. The only swing game we have had in this round. Every other series featuring a 3-1 lead. Pacers, Knicks, Timberwolves, all taking 3-1 leads. Which is incredible to say that the only team who could not grab a 3-1 lead in round 2, the only team is the minus money favorites to win the championship. In most circumstances, I feel like that would lead me to start screaming about how outrageous the Thunder's pricing is. How I don't understand what world the books are living in. You're not going to get that, though, because I do expect Oklahoma City to, we'll see who's on the other side of the bracket, but I do expect OKC to win the West. Now, what I would say is the OKC pricing is why I never bet him preseason, I never bet him in season, and the only time I did bet him, I had to get creative. For those that, were not with us on the night when we decided to lock in the OKC to win the West action, it was parlayed with the Dodgers, and all you needed was an extra innings walk-off win. Tommy Edman, I think, sent us home. Yeah, Tommy Edman made it happen. I then, on a Dinger Tuesday, paired my list of guys with OKC. So, again, I had to get creative because the Thunder's pricing I can't get to. Even if I think the Thunder should roll again tonight. I thought the Thunder would roll in game one. They lost. They blew it. It made me incredibly confident they would roll in game two. They win by 43. It's game three in Denver, and I expect OKC to step up again. They never were able to take a double-digit lead. Neither was Denver. They won by 9. That was their biggest lead of the game. An overtime battle. Give the Nuggets credit. Give the Nuggets credit for finding a way to pull that one out. But a lot of that also had to do with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's fourth quarter performance in game three being probably the worst quarter of basketball he played all season long. 1 of 8 from the field, lacking awareness that he didn't have it and the guys around him did. But off of that loss, I expected OKC to rock and roll. And the Thunder held the Nuggets to 8 points. 8 points in the first quarter. And we're not up 10. After holding the Nuggets to 8 points in the first quarter, OKC did not have a lead entering the fourth. But they won the fourth quarter by more than they won the first quarter and pulled away and even this series. And I find myself once again expecting the Thunder to dominate. So how to back it? You could lay the big number. But this is where the OKC pricing is tough. I am seeing the Thunder too similarly to the books. Maybe they even see them stronger than I do. So I can't get to that number at 10.5. But I can get to the Oklahoma City team total over 115.5 as a best bet tonight. OKC has only scored under 100 points 3 times all season long, regular season and postseason, before Game 4. That was the 4th time. The follow-up games, this team has been wonderful the next game. Now, opponents certainly do vary, but they scored 119 in the game after the 3 games. 119, they scored 127, and then they scored 136. That's what we've seen from them in the follow-up games. I think the 3-point shooting will be much better from Oklahoma City, and I think that they are going to get the job done. What I am incredibly fascinated by in tonight's game, beyond winning the bet, OKC winning the game, also then to keep the -1.5 game series spread bet in play, is what we see from Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic is still is in his prime. It may be towards the end of it, we don't know, but this is still the prime years of Nikola Jokic. He's also a postseason proven player. We know that to be true. Nikola Jokic started this series with one of the great games of his postseason career. 42-22. 52% from the field, chipped in 6 assists, couple of blocks, and a steal. And the comeback win against a team of OKC's caliber, wow. He has not shot 40% from the field in the 3 games that have followed up. Jokic in his last 7 games, has shot under 40% 4 times, under 45% 5 times. He averaged 58% from the field in the regular season. He has not shot above 52% in this 7-game window. And I do think that OKC deserves so much of the credit for what they have done to Nikola Jokic. But I can't get the few performances against the Clippers out of my head. Jokic is someone who has typically taken his regular season averages, specifically scoring, and elevated them once the postseason begins. Now, that was going to be tough for him to do coming off of his career highs points of 29.5 per game. But Jokic, over his last 4 postseasons before this, his averages, rounding up, 30, 31, 30, 29. He's at under 25 a game, 24.9. The regular season for Nikola Jokic and the postseason for Nikola Jokic have been different right now. I'm not trying to attack Joker. I know that the people are sensitive to that. But I am trying to figure out what he is going to give this team tonight. And we usually don't have to ask that question. Be right back.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Larry the Right here. It is Game Time Decisions, and it is that time again. We have a major event. That means we need Brady Cannon to help us out. The PGA Championship. Brady, appreciate you making some time here on a Tuesday as we get set for what should be, won't be as good as the Masters, we all know that, but what should be a really, really fun event this week.
Oh, no doubt about it, man. We've seen this golf course. It's kind of odd, Kevin. Most of the majors, other than the Masters, are golf courses that we see once every 10, 20 years or even never before. But here we have a golf course in Quail Hollow that has been a mainstay on the PGA Tour calendar since 2003, the host of the Wells Fargo Championship. Now that sponsor has changed. We had the Truist Championship last week, which would normally be the Wells Fargo. But the point is, we've seen this golf course for a long time. And so it kind of gives us a little leg up on our handicap that we know something about this golf course. We're not going in blindly. And we know, who this course typically favors and maybe a little bit of what to expect.
So let's start at the top, Brady, because this is something that, and do check me if I'm wrong about this, but after Rory won at Augusta, he went to the favorite to win the PGA Championship.
Yeah,
Am I right about
correct.
that?
It's correct. And I'll explain a little bit here. Scotty, of course, was the favorite, but prior to Rory winning the Masters. Then Rory won the Masters. Combined with that and the fact that he has won here at the Wells Fargo 4 times in his career. So they're like, okay, now Rory's the favorite. And then last week, Scotty says, hold my beer. I'm going to go set a record for 72 holes and shoot 2. And now he's the favorite again. So it's been a little bit of back and forth.
So here's what I'm trying to figure out, right? Rory jumping Scotty because he wins the Masters, I can make sense of, because it felt like the odds makers wanted to put Rory in front of Scotty at Augusta because of the form he entered in. They knew they couldn't. It's why I was like, the Rory number's way too short because it was so close to Scotty's number, right?
Right.
The fact that Scotty is now wrapped around, even if I absolutely adore him showing up to, respectfully, an amateur event, essentially, and blowing it to smithereens, that's like, was it almost Scott is kind of checking everyone like, hey, listen, good for Rory, cool moment. He's not me. Like, I don't know if you're probably not betting either guy. Maybe you are, but I just feel like these two trading off. I'll put it to you like this, Brady. When was the last time we talked about who should be favored at a golf tournament? It's been Scotty for like 2 years.
Yeah, good point. Good point. And it's kind of been Rory, Scotty, and John Rahm. And now I think the big three is Rory, Scotty, and Bryson. And, Bryson has now made up a lot of ground. He was anywhere from 16-1 to 12-1. And now he's anywhere from 6-8-1 to win this week. He is in Rory and Scotty territory. So, and Rahm, Rahm's drifted all the way to 20 or 25-1, I think I've seen. So, there's a lot of guys, and this is probably, Kevin, it typically is year in and year out. And I believe it's true this season for sure. The best field we have in golf. Okay, the Masters, you have a lot of past champions, you have a lot of amateurs. Here we have about 20 club professionals, actual PGA professionals that run golf courses that qualify and get to play here, which is a very special occasion. Outside of that, there's 125 or so pros that have earned their way into this field. And you look up and down the odds board, everybody who's anybody is here this week at Quail Hollow. Best field of the season so far.
Brady, before we get to your card, and we certainly got plenty of time to really figure that out, can you give me an idea what you expect the conditions to be like this weekend, and maybe around what you think the winning score is going to look like for this tournament?
Well, we've got another golf tournament where some rain has, been peppering the golf course early in the week. And it's been hard for these guys to get in practice rounds because it really has been coming down. I guess there's a trace of possible rain on Friday as well during the tournament. But for the most part, it looks like the rain will pretty much subside once we get going on Thursday. Now, like Augusta National, Quail Hollow also has, those highly advanced sub-air systems under the greens and the fairways, and they can try and dry this course out as best they can to make it firm and fast. But I think the amount of rain that they've had this week leading up, I think we are going to get a wet, softer golf course, and that even more so plays into the hands of the Bombers. They're going to be able to find more fairways. Their carry distance is longer. The shorter guys are not going to get as much run out on a firm and fast fairway. So I think we will. We saw it at Valhalla last year, where the guys really tore that course apart with how soft it was because of the rain. I don't think they'll tear Quail Hollow apart. The fairways are much narrower. It is more difficult, I believe, than Valhalla. But it probably will play maybe a little bit easier than expected. And as far as the winning score, it's interesting to note when Justin Thomas won here the last time they had a PGA in 2017, his winning score was 8 under par. But that was in August, and a different time of the year, different grasses growing, a much different golf course at that time of the season. Now, back in May, when they typically play the Wells Fargo, I think you're going to have a bit of an easier setup. The rough will not be as penal. And the number that they're posting here at the Westgate Superbook in Las Vegas for a winning score is 13.5 under par, which kind of feels about right. We just had the Masters at 11. I would think somewhere between 11 and 14 gives us one heck of a golf tournament where birdies and eagles are possible, but, double bogeys are as well.
It's going to be really fun to watch, and we're going to have Brady here with us in our next segment. It's going to be a short break. We're going to get his card. We'll ask him about a couple of key guys. But this is one of these tournaments where you have Scotty and Rory back and forth with their pricing. Bryson either in their tier or on a tier of his own. 18-1 Rahm, 22-1s on Schauffele and Justin Thomas. And then you still have underneath that 30-1 barrier, Ludwig and Morikawa. We're going to ask Brady Cannon where his card looks like right now for the PGA Championship after this break.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. They've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Derek Carr has called it a career after 11 NFL seasons.
I think they knew before the draft that they had to make a move at this point. And by the way, Derek Carr did have a pretty good career. Made as many Pro Bowls as Eli Manning. So based on that, he should go to the Hall of Fame like Eli Manning. Well, Eli Manning does have a couple rings at that point, but always wanted to take a shot at Manning, who should not actually be in the Hall of Fame. Shouldn't be questioned an under 500 quarterback for his career. Stop the man.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, Game Time Decisions with you on this Tuesday night. We're joined by Brady Cannon. Brady, we kind of set the stage a little bit here for the PGA Championship. Let the people know where your action is for this major event.
Yeah, we've been talking about Rory and Scotty, and I swerved both of them, Kevin. I think after the accomplishment that Rory McIlroy took down back in April at Augusta, not only winning the Masters, but also completing the career Grand Slam, and then coming into a tournament now at a golf course where he's won 4 times, it's just like that is so much to deal with. I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I think I'd be surprised if he missed the cut, but part of me would not, because, boy, he's got to come down for a minute off of all of that and all of this pressure and this expectation now going into this one. So I'm going to stay away from him. Scotty doesn't play this course that often. The only time he played it was for the President's Cup in 2022, and his record was lousy, 0-3-1 in his matches. And I mentioned the rain. He's not getting a whole lot of practice in here, so I'm not ready to go there with him either. But I did take the third biggest favorite on the board, Mr. Bryson DeChambeau. And he's an extremely popular pick this week, but I just could not leave him off the card. He makes way too much sense here. He drives the ball a mile. He drives it straight. He putts well. He plays the long par fours. He's been in the final pairing on Sunday in every one of his last 4 starts and won the last one at Live Korea. So I had to go with Bryson. Then I went to Schauffele. I typically don't play on the defending champion, but I think Schauffele makes a lot of sense, and I think he's about ready to fire. He missed a good chunk of this season with injury, but his last 4 starts have been very good. Had a top 10 at the Masters. He could be ready to go get it again. He's finished runner-up here at Quail Hollow twice in the last 2 Wells Fargo championships. And then I went with Oberg. I bet him back in January as soon as he won at Torrey Pines, which I think is a very connected golf course to Quail Hollow. If you do well at Torrey, you should do well here. So I took Oberg when he won back in February at the Genesis Invitational. And then I also took my last short shot. I took 4 guys that are in that neighborhood of, 10 to 30 to 1. And the last one was Joaquin Niemann, another Live player who has won nearly half the events on the Live circuit this year. He's won 3 times already. This guy is absolutely red hot. And I think the PGA is probably the major that is best suited for his game. If you look at the PGA, since it moved to the May spot on the calendar, there's been 5 editions since 2019 when it immediately followed the Masters. 4 of those guys have finished top 10 in the Masters leading up to that PGA. Xander Schauffele, Bryson DeChambeau, those guys all finished top 10 at the Masters, and a few of my long shots did as well. My next long shot is Tyrrell Hatton, 14th at the Masters, won earlier this year. The Dubai Desert Classic back in January, got him at 60 to 1. Jason Day, who's won at Torrey Pines twice, won here at Quail Hollow before, has a PGA championship to his credit, and his number of top 10 finishes here at Quail Hollow and at Torrey Pines. Now he's possibly nursing injury. He had to withdraw last week, and I don't know, maybe that was precautionary. I hope so. But if he's healthy, I think he contends. I got him at 80 to 1. I've seen his price drift all the way to more than 100 to 1 with this injury stuff. And then Soonjae Im, who I haven't bet on in a long time, but he has done very well at this golf course and at Torrey Pines. And he did very well at that President's Cup for the international side in 2022. So he's played extremely well at this golf course before, got him at 95 to 1. And then my biggest bomb, Harris English, who you may remember, Kevin, we were on at 110 to 1 when he won earlier this year at Torrey Pines. The guy's also finished 3rd at the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines, 4th at the U.S. Open at Winged Foot. He has played big boy golf courses extremely well. He's finished 3rd here at Quail Hollow for the Wells Fargo. So 200 to 1 on Harris English. I think he's got a shot.
It's going to be, again, incredible to watch. I just want to throw out there, and I know this is the case like every one of these tournaments now, I remain fascinated by Rahm. A really slow start kind of gave him no chance, but he played really well. Each day his score got lower at the Masters. Different course, I know, but...
And he's a master at Torrey Pines. Has won there twice, including a U.S. Open. Tough to count him out.
It's going to be fun to watch, Brady. We really appreciate it, as always, right here on Game Time Decisions. We'll be back, update you on everything going on. Cavs Pacers.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
You know, Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. You know, they've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Derek Carr has called it a career after 11 NFL seasons.
I think they knew before the draft that they had to make a move at this point. And by the way, Derek Carr did have a pretty good career. Made as many Pro Bowls as Eli Manning. So based on that, he should go to the Hall of Fame like Eli Manning. Well, Eli Manning does have a couple rings at that point, but always wanted to take a shot at Manning, who should not actually be in the Hall of Fame. Shouldn't be questioned an under 500 quarterback for his career. Stop the man.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions live right here with a nice start to this game from Donovan Mitchell, 7 early. A good start overall for Cleveland here. Defensively answering the bell. If you keep the Pacers to this type of start, you have to capitalize. It reminds me a little, though, of not the course of the game. One of the most underrated aspects of Game 2 and that incredible comeback. The Pacers scored 15 first-quarter points and ended that game with 102 points. That should not be possible. 35, 34, 36 was how they closed out that game. 105 points over the final 3 quarters. It was absolutely outrageous, and it shows just how tough the Pacers are to stop when they have it going on that side of the floor. I think the reality for Indiana is their offense can hit such levels. And I think when you look at now the last 2 years, it really feels like the healthy Pacers have a chance in any series they play. Like, I didn't pick them to beat Cleveland. I do believe that if the Cavs were 100% healthy for the length of the series, they would have won this series. I do believe that. But the Pacers, even last year, not only beat the Knicks, the Pacers last year had the chance to steal game number 1 in Boston. They lose Halliburton by game number 2. I know they got swept, but they were so competitive. It's just a completely different thing when their offense has it going. They don't have it going right now against the Cavs. The Cavs are flying around. Again, I do not think this series is over. I think what's interesting for Indiana is if you do not make the finals, what does your offseason look like? I don't say that from a blow-it-up disaster perspective, obviously. But is there a move for the Pacers where they look around and they go, we are close. We just need X to push us over the top? Because, again, realistically for the Pacers, even if they make the finals, like if they don't win the title, but specifically if they don't make the finals, right? You know, last year you go to the Eastern Conference Finals, they're favored to go back to the conference finals. They won't be favored over the Knicks, but it'll be close. If they play the Knicks, I don't think they'd be favored over Boston, even without Tatum. But they're going to still obviously have a chance. Again, my point is, what does that offseason look like for Indiana? And there is one name, I just want to throw this out there to people. There's some offseason stories that are like lightly developing, right? Like the Giannis stuff is bubbling. A lot of people want to talk about it. So do I. Cooper Flag, 100%, right? What's going on? Focusing on this stuff in front of us. Absolutely. But there is still the like lingering Kevin Durant is just going to be traded this offseason thing. And again, I do not know if people have like taken in just how wild it is that Kevin Durant being traded is this foregone conclusion. But it's just, while simultaneously, you have to just ask, what is Kevin Durant's trade value? So here's why I said I don't know if people are kind of following some of the light rumors right now, as Donovan Mitchell is filling it up in a major way, double-digit points here in this opening quarter. The report is that the Rockets, who have been connected to Kevin Durant, may look to go in a different direction because KD, age-wise, does not sync up with their young core. Kevin Durant is set to be, I believe, 37 at some point during next season, if not entering into next season. If this is the summer of Giannis, if there are, maybe one other big move that could also happen, right? Is Kevin Durant going to be able to be had for what feels like a discount? Cheap even? And get some teams in the race that you would have typically not expected, i.e., the Indiana Pacers. Another one that absolutely comes to mind, who plays later tonight, Zag, is the Denver Nuggets. Because you would expect Denver, again, if this series plays out how I think it will, which is Denver losing the next two, there's going to be still, a conversation for what does this offseason need to be. And if Kevin Durant he's not going to be easily obtainable, but way more obtainable, way more than when he was traded out of Brooklyn, right? Or when he was making his decisions as a free agent. I just wonder if the Kevin Durant list is way longer than we realize. There is a way that it goes the other way, though. That the Giannis sweepstakes forces teams to put players out on the table that like they otherwise wouldn't. And then you can't fully reel it in. And if you lose out on Giannis, you're willing to overpay for Kevin Durant. That's the other way this goes. Where, let's say you are the Spurs, you lose out on Giannis. Is it on the board that you go and then give up the second pick for KD? Just dwell on that, and then I'll update you on the baseball board. What in this moment holds more trade value? Kevin Durant or the second pick in this draft? Presumably Dylan Harper of Rutgers. Right now, it's going to depend a little bit on how you view the second best player in this class. I think the answer for me is the number 2 pick is more valuable. So that would then suggest KD, again, can be had for a lot less than typical before, and then that really opened some things up. Before we hit a commercial break, we should get the consig in here in a little bit. Updates across the Major League Baseball board. 2-2 in Boston, Detroit. Bregman hit a home run to tie that game. We're still waiting on any juice from Devers. Real low scoring in Guardians, Brewers, 1-0 heading into the top of the seventh there for Cleveland. If I'm not mistaken, Milwaukee got off to a really nice start to this season, and it is completely no, I'm completely wrong about that. Milwaukee started the season getting smoked by the Yankees. Why did I think they were off to a nice start? They were just kind of, they were fine. They were fine. They're now under 500, though. Tampa's up early on Toronto as they're hitting Barrios a little bit in this game. 2 runs in that one. Mets get on the board with a Brandon Nimmo double against the reeling Pittsburgh Pirates. That is an awful, awful team in an awful situation. They've already fired their manager. Washington up early on Atlanta. C.J. Abrams started that game with a home run. Braves just cannot get themselves to 500. And then we have started in Cubs Marlins. Don't forget Yarnell on the over 8 in that game. So we'll see if we can get the scoring going in that one. It's a quick break. We'll invite the consig on to Game Time decisions after this Tuesday night.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
You know, Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. You know, they've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Derek Carr has called it a career after 11 NFL seasons.
I think they knew before the draft that they had to make a move at this point. And by the way, Derek Carr did have a pretty good career. Made as many Pro Bowls as Eli Manning. So based on that, he should go to the Hall of Fame like Eli Manning. Well, Eli Manning does have a couple rings at that point, but always wanted to take a shot at Manning, who should not actually be in the Hall of Fame. Shouldn't be questioned an under 500 quarterback for his career. Stop the Manning.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, live right here on SportsGrid. 31-19 for Cleveland at the end of the first quarter. Donovan Mitchell with 13 in the first quarter and 10 for Evan Mobley. And realistically, it was made a little bit better due to Tyrese Halliburton stealing 3 free throws at the end there with they tried to do a take foul, a shooting foul. He made 2 of the 3. But a really good start for the Cavs. They've done that before, and it's not resulted in a win. We do have some playoff hockey tonight to help us talk a little bit about that. It's the consig. Appropriately donning the Stars gear.
Yes,
Dave,
sir.
what is the word around town on Dallas-Winnipeg?
One of those situations where how high do you make the number until you can actually get a bet on Winnipeg. Last game, just one of those ones that got away from them. And Connor Hellebuck on the road versus Connor Hellebuck at home versus Connor Hellebuck in the regular season. He's going to determine how this game goes tonight completely for the Jets. If the Jets are going to win, which between you and I and everyone watching and listening all over the world, I don't think they're going to do tonight. It's going to be because of Connor Hellebuck.
Some love there for the goalie. Let me ask you this, Dave.
Yep.
What's going on? What would be a more appropriate question? What's going on with Edmonton or what's going on with Vegas?
Oh, well, I think it's a good two-part question. What's going on with Edmonton is this team has 100% belief, and all of the things that were maybe being questioned about them in the past with the goaltending situation is not even a question anymore. They're the favorite, odds-on favorite to win the West. They're the odds-on favorite to win the Stanley Cup. And they just changed goalies again. So back to Skinner. It worked. He got a shutout. They're right there on top of the odds board. Vegas has questions as well, but I think the questions outnumber the answers. I don't think that Vegas has any answers. This series feels like it's over, whether it's in 5 or 6. This would be an unbelievable comeback to me for the Knights to just get it to a Game 7. I think a little somber here in town. You know, in Vegas, we were hoping for another playoff run to get us to June, but doesn't look good.
Yeah, I'm pretty stunned at the way this series is going right now.
Yeah.
I am someone who, like, I want to see McDavid back in the Cup. I think that's great. I think that's really good for hockey. Vegas grabbing the first game. Oh, wow, that's pretty impressive. Good for them, right? Vegas grabbing, Edmonton, right?
Yes.
Edmonton grabbing the second game. It's like, whoa, really? Like both of them. Overtime hockey, though, gets weird. Anything can happen. Also, it just feels like overtime naturally. I know it's not the different rules, but just still, it's like, hey, who can skate longer? Well, McDavid and Leon probably. So, okay, fine, right?
Yep.
Vegas wins in this just outrageous buzzer beater fashion. Now, Game 4, it's not that the Oilers won on their home ice. It's 3-0.
Domination.
How many?
They dominated.
How many 3-0 Oiler wins are there on the year? Right?
Not many. So that's that. I think that is what put the seed of doubt where, you know, if it was another close game and you go, okay, they can just, you know, get that puck to flip the other way and maybe get a late goal and win. I really think Edmonton took control of that series the way they won yesterday.
Yeah, it certainly feels that way, and it's a good thing for you to point out. Under 3-1 right now. Dave, do you feel that OKC being a double-digit favorite is a situation where the books are kind of making a statement, or they just know that there are people lurking and waiting to come in and back this Thunder team to win by 15, 20 points because they're just going to if they play a longer series, they're going to do it multiple times.
Yep. You gravitate back toward the original number when the series started, right? So OKC at home, first game was 10, right? It closed 10. I think it was 8.5 and it closed 10. Just go back to that same number. Now you have a body of work. You have 4 games to kind of go off of. It has to be at least that. The way Denver, they came back, but the way they started and the way that game started, this series has kind of taken on a different look than what we all thought it was going to be in the beginning. You know, maybe looking towards the under where it looked like it was going to be automatic overs. And the game may be a little bit ugly. Book's just putting up the number and taking the bets. There's not real strong. I don't think there's a strong opinion either way. In the future market, yes. I mean, the future market, did you see OKC today to win the NBA championship?
I did.
Money. Some books put them at -105, -110. Surprising.
Yeah, I think my take on OKC and their price all year is I get it, I can't get there. And I remember when last season ended, telling people like, "Oh, I look forward to being in on OKC."
Yeah.
Hartenstein deal, Caruso deal, and it's like, all right, so there's nothing we can do there. Telling people like, yeah, SGA is going to win MVP, not a ticket in sight. He still hasn't been. When is he going to win MVP? In like 25 minutes? Like, what's going on? When is he going to win that award? Don't Major League Baseball me here. Don't make me wait forever.
I don't know how this works. I mean, yesterday they gave the number 1 pick to the Dallas Mavericks around this time, so maybe they'll give him the MVP. Who knows?
You think 750 is a good time for them to do some things?
No, what are they doing at halftime? They do it at halftime
Before the game.
I don't know.
Would be nice. Before the game will be nice. Here's what we'll do. We'll trade some questions on the back end of this. I'll just say I haven't mentioned this yet tonight, and I should. I just have a feeling, just because I could see it. Sometimes you can see it in someone's eye, and I know sometimes Dave he looks around every corner. If you think the NBA lottery is rigged, you're a little crazy. All right, that's all.
Yeah,
it's all. You're a little crazy. Like if you truly, in your heart of hearts, were given even money both sides, is it rigged? Yes, no, and they're going to open the envelope, and if you win your money, like and you bet the yes, it's like woof, that's a losing ticket. We'll button it up here on the other side of this quick break.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. They've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Derek Carr has called it a career after 11 NFL seasons.
I think they knew before the draft that they had to make a move at this point. And by the way, Derek Carr did have a pretty good career, made as many Pro Bowls as Eli Manning. So based on that, he should go to the Hall of Fame like Eli Manning. Well, Eli Manning does have a couple rings at that point, but always wanted to take a shot at Manning, who should not actually be in the Hall of Fame. Shouldn't be questioned, an under 500 quarterback for his career. Stop the Manning.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple 18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We're going to flip some questions around here. Consig, I'm going to bat lead off. I don't always have a question for you, but I have a question for you. If
Please.
the NBA Eastern Conference Finals is Pacers Celtics, what's the number? I know. I'm not saying it will be. I think we all, like, if it's Cavs Knicks, the Cavs are favored. If it's Knicks Pacers, the Knicks are favored. We know it.
Yeah.
If it's Pacers Celtics,
oh my goodness, yeah, the Celtics are favored.
They are.
I
agree.
Yeah, 100% the Celtics are favored. If they win the next 3 games and somehow win this series, they have home court advantage over the Pacers, they'll be favored. 100%. Is that the right number? I don't know, but they will be favored. I think the Knicks. How much do you think the Knicks will be favored by the Pacers by? 150, 160, reasonable?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, there's no way it's minus 200, right? So
I don't think so. Some guys would argue that it should be. Some
why
guys
though?
would
What's
argue
that?
that it should be pick. I don't. I know it's not pick.
It's not pick.
I don't think it's as high as 200. The Knicks are favored at home in Game 1, so they got to be favored for the series. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think minus 145 to minus 170 is like the range I'm willing to live in. I think any. But
and the number will depend on your future position. If you're a book, because there's some big tickets out there floating on the Pacers. We're 100 to 1 not that long ago to win the NBA.
Yeah,
and 50, 60 to 1 to win the East. So
I know someone holding a 28 to 1 preseason given out right here on this show.
How about that? How about that?
It's funny because
back for you real quick because I gotta go.
Yeah. All right.
These guys are getting upset. I don't want to get anybody upset. If I told you a team had 56 runs scored in their last 6 games, that's 9.3 runs a game, and I told you that this team also has 74 home runs, more than the next closest team by 10, which is the Dodgers with 64 home runs. Can you name that team?
Yankees?
Your boys. All they do is hit home runs. It's Dinger Tuesday. Pick 1 or 2 because they're going deep again tonight.
All right, Consig, I love that from you. I always appreciate you jumping in here. I'm going to say something. I think overall, great point by Dave. Tonight's game, total home runs, 2.5. It's minus 188 to the under. Now, I can't do much with minus 188, but this isn't really a home run game. Max Fried doesn't really give up home runs. Brian Wu doesn't really give up home runs. Total 7. I don't really have the oomph to play the under, though, because, come on, who's doing that at a 940? Nobody texts me. This is what they did last time. Cost me tons of money on that Nerfy-Yerfy situation that came in Oakland. I don't think there's going to be much runs there. Consig, it is always great to have you by here on a Tuesday. Let's send everybody on their way with what the juice looks like for the rest of the night. Thunder Nuggets, best bet, over the 115.5 team total on OKC. Total drops massively due to the big-time under they play on a Sunday. That's fine. I get it. Little too far. It's the way I feel comfortable backing OKC without having to lay 10 or bet SGA 32.5. Can't get a cheap number on this guy. Can't get a cheap number on this SGA. I get it. I don't mind if you play the Jokic rebounds, assists. We talked about that pre-series. He's nowhere near the assist lead, and they won't give us a fair number on him in series. I can't get there. I check every day. We're not getting a fair number. I don't mind a Lou Dort comeback for made threes leader. I don't mind a Lou Dort play tonight, but I like the OKC team total over. Major League Baseball, if you want some home runs. All right, I think for the crew, you can get in on most of these as well. Tyler Soderstrom for me. I'm also playing Will Smith in that game. And I also have a shot on Vinny Pasquantino. Jonah Heim from Yarnell. Jackson Merrill from AJ. AJ's best bet also not off the board just yet. D-backs money line. Going to give that group a shot. On the road against the Giants. Fought Robbie Ray. So that's where we are on a Tuesday. Great to have everybody here. Really appreciate it. And we will do it again on Thursday. Look forward to seeing you. In-game live is next.